Still on the breakfast show, and this time, of course, joined in by Mkonki on the, of course, a special one as usual every Tuesdays. Investments, very important. How to help friends without sacrificing your own finances. Wow, so that's possible. Mkonki, good to have you on the show officially.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry for coming in late. And I underestimated the amount of time to get here.
No, I mean, we're here. That's what matters most, right?
Yes, that's what matters.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
morning, everyone.
But your week was good.
It was fantastic. Yeah, just preparing for some exam that I'll be writing this week.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from that long weekend then.
Yeah.
Nice.
Africa Freedom Day. How was it for you?
It was good. It was colorful. I love the contributions. I mean, I was working during the rest, so the feedback came out very well.
Uh-huh.
Yes, a lot of a lot of colors. The honoring of people that contributed to the nation,
Mm-hmm.
like the head of state, the
Nice.
pardoning of the prisoners. I
Nice.
think it was worth it though.
That's great. That's
yeah.
great.
All right.
Yeah.
So getting back to our discussion on Insight, our partners right here. I'm talking about Ndalama Insights. How to help friends without sacrificing your own finances. I know this. Run us through this. So this is very possible, right?
It's very possible. It's extremely possible, and that's what we're going to talk about today, Chilufia.
Okay.
Yes, how do you create those boundaries? How do you ensure that your friends are also getting some financial literacy education so that they can take care of their personal finances just as you are doing? Because for them to contact you, it means that you're a good manager of your finances. So that's what we would like to discuss today. Really, it's possible.
Oh, nice. All right. So we get into is where we delve into the financial matters that impact your daily life. Okay, and yes, Manchilo alongside Mkonki right on this program. Okay, how to support our friends financially without compromising our own financial well-being. Okay, the CEO of Inside Partners Africa and a regular guest on our show, that's Mkonki right here. Mkonki, yes. So just run us through this now. It's always a pleasure having you, by the way. All right. Yeah. So run us through this. Where do we start from when somebody wants to help someone without really putting in the finances there?
So first of all, many of us in Africa have got relatives that depend on us, Manchilo. You know that. I'm pretty sure even just yesterday, somebody might have been calling you asking for some money. So it's nice to be considered. When somebody considers you as one who can help them financially, it's really, really nice. So I must applaud everybody that actually extends their hands and helps their relatives or even their friends when it comes to finances. But it's very important that you also take care of your personal finances and ensure that they are secured before you can extend that helping hand to your friends and relatives. So as a basic starting point, always review your income, check the money that you're making against your expenses, and see if there's a gap there that can allow you to contribute to the welfare of your family and friends when it comes to helping them. So the very, very first starting point really is to assess your finances. Are you able to spare some money to help your relatives when they ask for it? In a previous discussion, Chilufia, I've actually recommended that, and for me, this is something that I'm planning to do, to just set aside, open an account just for not similar to emergencies for yourself, but now for help. So like contributions to family and relatives. So just an account that you can be setting aside money for such purposes. And whenever you have some money to spare, you can drop that money in that bank account. So when people ask you, you can draw from that bank account, and that way it doesn't jeopardize your entire, finances. So it's very important. We know, that one day somebody's going to ask money from you. So just prepare yourself for those situations, rather than just blindly, closing your eyes to it and ignoring it, thinking that nobody's going to ask. As long as you are in the urban areas, you've got a job, even if it's not a nice job, as long as you are employed, you expect people to ask money from you. So let's prepare ourselves for that.
All right, so it's
Yeah.
a situation of balancing compassion, with the responsibility, right?
Yes, we have to be responsible for our own personal finances, and also compassionate, and help our friends. And we could also explore other alternatives to Lufia. Sometimes we think that our relatives, because they're regularly asking money from us, but what they could need is maybe something more than just money. We could help them understand financial literacy, just the way we are learning everything that we've been learning. We could also start teaching our relatives. We need to tell them about how to make investments, perhaps in shares, in GRZ bonds. Our stock market has been performing wonders the past few weeks.
Oh yeah, oh nice.
So we need to tell our relatives and of our friends about these opportunities, about the importance of setting aside a little bit of your money. So financial literacy is very important. So other than just the monetary support that we offer our relatives, we can also offer non-monetary support, and also perhaps help them in terms of job searches. If one of your relatives or friends is not employed, help them find a job, so that way they can secure a regular income, so they don't depend on you. And really just help them with financial literacy and managing their finances generally. Yes.
Oh, nice. So let's talk about a bit about self-assessment. How key is it before making any commitments?
So as I said, self-assessment is really about assessing your capacity to help your relatives.
Okay.
Many relatives assume that because you have a job, you have the capacity to help them, when in fact you might not have that capacity. The money you could be earning could just be sufficient to take care of you and your family. So you need to assess your capacity by reviewing your income and your expenses. And then when you know that I can afford to lend a little bit of money to my relatives, then you can do that. So that is what self-assessment really is about. It's about assessing whether you have the capacity to help your relatives. And where you find that you don't have that capacity, please communicate to your relatives in a kind way, with empathy. You should tell them why it is not possible, perhaps at this moment, to help them in the way that they want to be helped. And then also offer non-monetary support, as I've just explained.
Nice one.
Yeah.
So if you just doing that's how you do it. That's the best way you can do that, of course. And they even maybe somebody even has knowledge on where somebody can get that literacy, right? That information about finances. Okay, you can also introduce them to them, isn't it?
Yes, that's exactly the point, Lufia. If they might not be aware of how to make money other than just calling on you. So you who's been listening to these programs, who's been educating yourself financially, it is your obligation and responsibility to transfer that knowledge to your relatives and friends. Tell them about the importance of setting aside money, tell them about the importance of investing that money, and how it eventually starts growing. So it is your responsibility. I like this Asian or Chinese proverb that says, teach a man to fish, and they will live their life, without depending on you. But give them a fish, they'll always come back and ask for that fish, something in those lines.
Oh yes.
So that's the essence of teaching them, showing them how to manage their personal finances. And for me, I think that is really fundamental.
Let's talk about the issue of lending money. Just a bit of lending money. When you lend money to your friends, I know it can be tricky, risky. What are the potential risks involved in this?
So lending money to friends is very common, and it's actually one source of conflict when it comes to friendships. I know a number of friends that have fallen apart because one person lent money to their friend and they didn't repay back that loan. So it's a very critical aspect when it comes to friendship. So the very first thing you need to do is understand that this is a transaction. It's a formal loan. you are borrowing. So formalize that transaction, write it down, let your friend sign that they've borrowed, let them commit to when they will repay back that money. It's very important that you establish these guidelines so that your friend understands that this is a loan that I'm borrowing. It is not a gift. But it could also be a gift. So maybe you've seen that your friend is in. So rather than offering them a loan, you could act, and you know that they might not be able to repay back. You could offer them stress of them trying to repay back this money. So very here, if it is a loan that you're lending your friend, ensure that it's a formalized transaction. Write it down, let them sign, and you also sign. If you think they will not repay you back, offer them a gift so that none of you are under stress to recover that money back. So very important. I know a number of relationships that have been strained as a result of this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So what will your take-home message on today's program, Konki, a special day like this one, to investing wisely?
So my takeaways, Chilufia, really is that it's important to help our families and friends, but it's also very important for you to ensure that they do not affect your personal finances. So the first thing you need to establish is whether you have the capacity to help your relatives or not. And if you have the capacity, consider creating an account, a bank account, where you can be setting aside money to help your relatives and your friends. Where you don't have that capacity, you can offer non-monetary support to your relatives in form of financial literacy education and helping them in terms of job searches as well. But most critically, as we conclude today's program, I would like to just say that let's transfer this financial literacy knowledge to everyone in Zambia, because it is the only way we are also going to be financially independent. Yesterday we are celebrating Africa Freedom Day. That is the only way we can become financially independent, and also ensure that our relatives also become financially independent. That way we are supporting each other out of this. So that is really what I would like to emphasize today.
Okay. Nice one. Okay. So, but don't worry, you can see me for that 1.5. We can sign.
No problem. After the program, immediately after the program.
No problem. No, it's good having you on the show, and wishing you the best as you conduct all these trainings and as people follow you. By the way, how can they get to where you are in case somebody's interested?
So you can get to me. I love YouTube, because YouTube, I know that you've actually watched the video and then we can discuss it. That way it's easier for me. So find me on YouTube. In fact, leave a comment on this video. And you can also find me on LinkedIn also. And if you really feel like chatting with me, you can call me on 0977 44 56 04. There are some comments online that are very interesting. There's one from Kasama. This is why I like ZNBC. Yeah, there's a comment from Kasama, from Kapalakasha, who's saying these issues are not discussed. This is very important.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we need to be discussing more of these issues.
Family setup, friends,
There's also Chitundu and a number of others. I can see all your comments. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give all the best and have a great weekend as people invest wisely.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone.
All right. You have with us in the Lama Insiders, Konki, Konkai Shila. And of course, she'll be back next week. Join us as we give you more on the Lama Insights next week. This is a breakfast show. Keep it full and drive safely.